Hey everybody, welcome to Brain Better. Today, we're going to go over the 8 signs of a true introvert. Make sure to watch until the end of the video because we'll be sharing some bonus information with you. Also, if you learned something from this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel so that we can continue to provide more values to you. Now, let's get straight into our topic today, the 8 signs of a true introvert. The terms introversion and extroversion were first introduced and popularized by psychologist Carl Jung in the 1920s. Carl Jung describes extroverts as more outward-turning who prefer to seek and engage with external stimuli. On the contrary, an introvert is a person who tends to be more focused on their inner thoughts and feelings rather than external stimulation. In the 1960s, another psychologist called Hans Eysenck added to Carl Jung's concept of introversion and extroversion. Eysenck believed that the difference between an introvert and an extrovert lies in their level of arousal. Introverts generally have a higher level of arousal, so they don't require additional external stimuli to raise their level of arousal to the normal state. In fact, too much external stimuli may be overwhelming to them, therefore they prefer solitude over constant social interaction. Activities like reading books or writing journals are some of the best hobbies for introverts. These activities help them feel content and energized as they deep dive into their inner thoughts. On the other hand, extroverts have generally lower levels of arousal, which explains why they prefer more stimulating activities to get them to the normal state of arousal. Anyway, whether you're an extrovert, introvert, or a combination of both, it's important to know that all these are normal personality traits, and none of these personality traits should be seen as stronger than the other. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses. And since we're focusing on introversion in our video today, it's also important to note that introversion is not the same as being shy or socially anxious. Neither does it mean that introverts cannot be leaders. In fact, we will be sharing with you some of the most successful leaders who are also introverts by the end of the video. Alright now, so are you a true introvert? Here are the 7 signs. Number 1. Introverts get drained by social interaction. Since introverts tend to draw their energy from solitude, it is very common for them to feel drained after prolonged social interaction. Of course, this does not necessarily mean introverts are bad at socializing. They just have a different approach. Also, being an introvert does not give us the right to completely withdraw ourselves from all sorts of social interaction. Maintaining a healthy social life is still essential for our health and well-being in every aspect. But as introverts, we do have to pay extra attention to maintain a balance between social interactions with periods of solitude in order to get recharged and rejuvenated from time to time. It's important to practice self-care and learn to draw boundaries for our mental well-being. It's completely okay to be selective of the social activities we engage with. Look for social activities that align with our interests and values, as it can offer a more rewarding and enjoyable experience. Also, if you happen to know anyone around you who is introverted, be understanding and respectful of their boundaries and needs for solitude. Number 2. Introverts prefer spending time with small groups rather than large crowds. Yes, introverts do enjoy a certain degree of social interaction, and they too can have strong social skills, but they interact with people differently compared to extroverts. Instead of socializing with large groups, introverts tend to prefer smaller, more intimate social gatherings. They prefer to have meaningful, intentional, and deeper conversation with smaller groups and may feel drained or overwhelmed in large, loud groups. Introverts are usually thoughtful types of networkers. They value quality over quantity, which explains why most of them have a relatively smaller circle of friends compared to extroverts, but they are usually very close with these friends. Number 3, introverts are very self-aware. Since introverts are more inward-turning, they enjoy solitude and tend to spend a great deal of time to themselves, reflecting their inner experiences. Introverts are generally more introspective rather than communicating their thoughts and feelings with others. Their usual go-to is to examine their own thoughts and feeling first. This allows them to be more in touch with their inner experiences and help them gain better insights of their behaviors and emotional patterns. Carl Jung once said that your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. Indeed, self-awareness is one of the strengths of introverts, as the more they discover about themselves, the closer they are to reaching their full potential. Self-awareness helps introverts to better understand why others behave in certain ways and how they can react better to those situations. Self-awareness also helps introverts manage their emotions and behavior better and improve their decision-making skills. Number 4, introverts are generally more reserved. Most introverts prefer keeping their thoughts and emotions to themselves. They seldom express their opinions unless it's really important or when someone asks for their input. Introverts also seldom open up themselves until they are really comfortable in a relationship. Some people may find it challenging to get to know introverts more, since they are often perceived as quiet and reserved. Though they move at a slower pace when it comes to their relationships with others. Once we get to know them and start building meaningful relationships with them, introverts can be one of the most thoughtful and amazing friends whom we can rely on. Before we go into number 5, we just want to congratulate you for making it this far. Keep watching because we'll be sharing some bonus information with you at the end of the video. Alright, now, number 5. Introverts are deep thinkers. Do you prefer texting or talking? Most introverts prefer texting as it gives them more time to think, come up with a better word selection, better tone, and be more articulate. They don't usually offer quick opinions. Instead, they would think thoroughly, rehearse, and carefully prepare in their mind what they're about to say before they actually say it. When it comes to decision making, introverts tend to be more cautious and may take more time to process information. Instead of making impulsive decisions, they carefully consider all available options, weighing the pros and cons before coming to a conclusion. Number 6. Most introverts prefer working alone than in a group. Since introverts don't really crave social interactions like extroverts do, most of them prefer working alone rather than working in a large group. Working alone creates more space for them to concentrate and process information, which in return helps them to be more effective and efficient. Working alone also allows them to work things out at their own pace without needing to rush to conclusions or navigate team dynamics, which can be extra energy draining for introverts. However, this certainly does not mean that introverts are not team players. Yes, introverts may prefer to have more time to process their thoughts before discussing or presenting it to others. But as long as the team dynamic is conducive to their working style, introverts can be one of the greatest value adds to any team who can offer valuable insights and ideas. Number 7. Most introverts are observant. Due to their introspective nature, most introverts have heightened awareness of their surroundings. They are more likely to notice subtle details that others tend to overlook. They are good at reading the room and picking up emotional cues. They are more attuned to the emotional needs of others. They are able to capture the essence of a conversation instead of understanding only the superficial level. Introverts' reflective and observant nature also make them great listeners. Their ability to reflect and understand their own emotions helps them to better relate and connect with others on an emotional level. It grows their capacity for empathy, making them one of the best listeners. Number 8. Most introverts are not tempted by the spotlight. Indeed, most introverts prefer a behind-the-scenes role which keeps them away from the center of attention. They don't really like being in the spotlight, and they seldom brag about their achievements. Alright, as promised, we'll be sharing some bonus information with those of you who are still watching. So one of the biggest struggles with introverts is that most people think being an introvert is a bad thing. It's a weakness, but that's not true. In fact, introverts can make one of the most successful and exceptional leaders. Abraham Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein, Barack Obama, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, and so many more. So no, introversion is not a weakness. Despite how society has been programming us into believing that introverts can never be as good as extroverts, the truth is introversion is just a neutral personality trait. It has its own strengths and shortcomings, just like extroversion. If you're an introvert, check out the next video here because we'll be sharing with you why being an introvert is not a bad thing at all. Alright, we've covered all 8 signs of a true introvert. If you have learned something today, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on all these value-packed videos on communications, mindset, leadership, and so much more. See you in the next video. Bye!